Sports in the city. Sports in the city. Sports, the sports in the city. You keeping it gritty with that sports in the city. Live from the arena. Welcome to that sports in the city. From the east to the west coast, you already know how we do. From the south to the north, all over the globe, there's a sports in the city wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in to Sports in the City TV. I'm your sports G. Reed Richards. Yeah, my partners in crime, BK Ty, K Cash, Logic on the ones and the twos. What's going on? What's going on, my brothers?
Shouts out, fam. What's going on? Salute to all the sports
man,
fam across the globe. Every court, every arena, every rink, every field. Salute.
Yes, sir. We're back in Sports in the City, live from the arena. K Cash, what's the deal, brother?
I'm okay. Just chilling, just hanging in here, man.
Hanging in there. Sound like you had a long day, my brother.
Long day, indeed.
I hear you, man. Thanks for being here. Sports in the City TV. So here we go, man. Let's get to it. This is going to be a classic. Yo, Logic, man. This is going to be a classic, man.
It's going to be a monster, man. We gonna get, that's going to be a monster.
For real, Sports in the City TV via the iRant Network, presents Top Shelf Thursday. What's the story in the city? The word on the streets, the haps from the arena, TMC style, bob and weave, shake and bake, quick pick, rapid fire, high-powered offense style. Man, you already know how we do. Great men do great things. We laugh, joke, and kid, but we don't play. We don't play around. We don't mess around. We don't fool around. We get down to the business. So let's get to it. The Equinox progression, man.
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
When criminals in this world appear and break the laws that they should fear and frighten all who see or hear, the cry goes up both far and near for underdog. Underdog. Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all who mob or plunder.
Top shelf. We talking strictly top shelf. NBA playoffs. We had the playoffs last time we left off. The Knicks were up. We got to talk about your Knicks first. Let's get it out the way.
Let's go.
Man.
Let's go.
All right, so the Knicks had a 3-2 lead on the Pacers. Then what happened?
Then fatigue set in, brother. We got as far as we could go with the players that we had and in the health that they, that we're experiencing at the time. I'll tell you what happened, man. To be honest, we were overachieving, and when Josh Hart suffered that abdominal strain.
Yeah.
I think that was the final nail in the coffin, man. Because Josh was basically doing a little bit of everything, rebounding, hitting certain shots,
right.
Definitely pushing the rock and putting pressure on the defense, and that was one of the biggest aspects that was missing on the offensive side for us, man. We didn't really put any pressure on Indiana defensively.
So in the East, that was what was going on, precluding to where we was at. Game 5, the Knicks, 121-91. That's where we left off at. But before that happened, the Celtics eliminated the Cavaliers, and JB Bickerstaff just got fired today. Think that's deserving? You can talk about that, Cash. I ain't got nothing to do with the past. That just happened today.
JB, man, he was only a little above 500 as a coach.
517.
He had talent. farthest he got them was to the second round. You know, as a black coach, if you don't turn piss into wine, you gotta go. So
I don't know that I would say it's so much I mean, I definitely agree with you. Cash, I agree with you that I think, you know, coaches of color have shorter leashes. But the one thing I will say is we
all agree to that.
A 4th seed last year that got upset by a 5th seed. And then this year they were the 5th seed, I think.
A 4th seed.
A four seed again.
Yeah.
A 4th seed, yeah.
They fell back into the 4th seed so they could play us.
I think
you think so? That was a tank?
Yeah, they wanted to play us in the first round to guarantee out of the first round.
Okay. Y'all took them to 7. Nevertheless, they ended up facing the Celtics. Celtics took them out in 5, gentlemen sweep, right? They cruised 1 game, but then Donovan Mitchell got fired. Which led to the firing of JB.
Donovan Mitchell got hurt.
Right. Yeah. He missed like the last 2 games. And you already got Jared Allen out.
He's always hurt, though. Donovan Mitchell is always hurt.
Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell as well. Because I remember Jared Allen when he played with the Nets, he was injured a lot too. So that's not deserving, JB. Well, then if it's not, then he'll find another landing spot, right?
You know, it's to the point now where I think their situation was that team needing a new voice. Also, you got to shake something.
Well, who wasn't listening though?
Donovan Mitchell was playing consistent. The point guard. It was not much.
Donovan Mitchell, that aka also known as Donovan Mitchell, stopped listening to JB and tuned him out. He want another coach then, or else he's leaving Cleveland. Because the story was, the word on the street was that it's either you keep the coach or the player. If they not seeing eye to eye, your star player and your coach don't see eye to eye, you got to choose.
I don't even see a coach breathing that could keep Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland at this point.
Okay, to your point. So then Cleveland are playing themselves then, because he's probably gonna leave anyway.
Yeah, so what do you do if you lose a guy like Donovan? Do you go into reset mode? You know what I'm saying?
Depends
or do you
on what's out there in free agency.
Do you try and stick a couple of Cleveland is not a free agent destination, and short of some big disgruntled name becoming available, I'm not even sure what type of assets they have to get in the market.
Well, we're gonna speculate
on that. They gave up a lot to get Donovan, didn't they?
We understand, but right now, to your point, we're gonna have to see about that during free agency and what moves the Cavaliers make. What move would you make? Would you keep them, sign them, get rid of them, rebuild? You just asked a question, so go ahead, tell us what you would do.
I think at this point you gotta, especially after firing Bickerstaff, you gotta look at retooling.
Okay.
Because like I said, I don't think they're gonna keep. I don't think they're gonna keep Mitchell.
So retool. And
I don't think there's a coach that.
All right, that's it then. Yeah. What about you, Cash? What would you do if you was an exec on the Cavaliers?
I think there's not a lot of coaches left because it's kind of late in the game. You got maybe Sam Cassell. That's one name that I would look into. Adrian Griffin, because he really didn't get an opportunity up in Milwaukee. And then, who knows, man? JJ Redick.
All right, as far as the team itself, because the coaches is still going to be.
The team is, you got to trade Donovan Mitchell. He got 1 year left on his contract if you want to get any good value for him this year.
Okay.
You might want to get rid of Garland and blow the whole team up. You might think about that also.
All right, so we're going to have to deal with that then. We're going to talk about that because it's definitely going to be a topic because they just fired their coach. So, and one thing about moves like that to me, man, it like, why are you doing that during the playoffs? You know what I mean? It's not time to discuss JB.
The season is over.
Yeah, but still,
is over. It's time to go.
being salty is more like it.
I mean, what you gonna do?
Diplomatically. All right, bro. Just wait till the playoffs, man. It's over.
You're gonna let him go on vacation thinking he got a job to come back to?
Hey, he could find out before they announce it, man.
Yeah, they could have waited.
That was
but
whack.
they just give him opportunity. He could get a nice assistant job next year.
Man, you talking about the Eastern Conference, Western Conference Finals, man. Let's wrap up the playoffs. We're gonna talk about JB and the Cavaliers.
They don't care about mucking it up.
Okay, we're moving on, nevertheless. All right. So now the Cavs got knocked out. So the Knicks had a 3-2 lead. How did we lose that tie? On Friday, they played in Indiana. Tell us what happened, man, from your
Jalen Brunson did not have his best game. And then are you talking about the Friday night game that we lost?
Friday, yes, sir.
Yeah, that
talk about it.
That abdominal injury to Josh Hart, man, that really threw a monkey wrench up in the game, yo.
That happened during the game? I thought that was
happened in the first quarter.
In Game 7. Okay.
That happened in Game 7.
Did he come back?
He tried to tough it out. He tried to, he came back in the game, but there was a point I think like halfway through the fourth quarter where he asked to come out of the game. Josh Hart ain't never asked to come out of a basketball game ever in his life. He looked at the bench and was like, "Yo, this ain't working," you know. So
yeah.
Abdominal strains are at least a minimum of a 2-week injury. So it was.
I've had them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I didn't have any faith in us in Game 7.
All right, so Game 7, you just knew too much of a mash unit.
I got a little excited when OG, he was on. I won't say on fire, but it looked like he had it going in the beginning of the game, and then he couldn't even continue. He asked to come out, like, yeah, I can't,
right?
Because he saw a couple of plays on defense where he was defending Siakam, and he looked like his feet was in the mud, man. So
yeah, so you already knew. You already knew. So
then the
third quarter, then Brunson fractures his finger.
Yeah.
So
was that the third or was that the fourth?
That was the third quarter.
Yeah.
Right. So he fractures
it was
his
definitely
finger.
a wrap after that.
Right. So after that, you already knew a comeback was not in the works. So I ain't gonna ask you what the Knicks need to do to retool for next year because you're gonna take up the rest of the show. Okay, so that's one. Run it back. All right, cool.
Run it back and maybe do a sign and trade with Chicago. Trade Bogdanovich and a couple of picks and get DeRozan.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the cap space and if that's really a viable trade that they can make, because you and I both know that people have put those type of moves on social media and don't have the understanding that there has to be cap room and there has to be certain rules that are applied.
Definitely gotta understand the cap ramifications. Yeah, salary.
Yes, sir. And then also not just that, but what position does it put the team in? Because the Knicks have been notorious for trying to get a high-profile free agent. They don't come here no more like that.
I have their cap. Their cap.
We ain't getting into the cap right now, God. We just saying that has to be discussed, man. It's just we touch it. It's a light brush. We ain't gonna pull up the whole cap right now. The season ain't even over. We don't even know what's gonna happen yet. Free agency ain't upon us. We're in the playoffs. We're just saying. I just wanted to get a nutshell idea from Ty as to what he think the Knicks should do for next year. Light brush, nothing too heavy, no deep dive. So they lost, unfortunately. They had a great season. Was a season a success? Yay and nay?
The Knicks?
Yeah, yes, sir.
It's absolutely a successful season. Nobody even had us finishing in the top 4 at the start of the season, before the season started. No one, let alone the second seed, nobody had us getting within one game of the conference finals. And then to do so missing 4 starters, it's been an incredible season. It's disappointing in the way it ended, and I can imagine those players are extremely disappointed in how it ended, man. To be on such a high with such limited resources.
Well, I mean, to
and
be
fall
very
short
happy,
for real
man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
for real to
well,
fall short because of injuries.
I don't think everybody's walking around like on some woe is me with their head down. Like the Knicks had an incredible season, as you mentioned. To your point, they overachieved, and we'll take that to the bank, and we're gonna build on that. Now, as far
Knicks
as
was definitely playing with
on,
house money this season.
as
Definitely.
yeah, then I don't think they that far though. To be honest with you, they're not that far coming out the East because we gonna see the Celtics. They have chinks in their armor with the right maneuvers and health. And health is the availability would be their greatest asset, man. That would be their greatest asset. And as far as the Knicks are concerned, right? They have to, just make the right moves and just keep it moving. Now, as far as the coach now, your man Tibbs. Your man Tibbs gets a lot of criticism, man. I hear a lot of people buzzing about your man Tibbs. And it's the playoffs, man, as we mentioned last year. They are not going to be able to play cats who are injured. If you had Hart walking off the court, as you mentioned, never does. You had OG walking off the court after lighting it up, and then he just couldn't go no more. I was, it's wishful thinking, but that he was going to pull like a Willis Reed. It didn't happen. We all saw that. But, them guys have the grit and the basis, the foundation of those 90 gritty, physical, overachieving teams that the Knicks had. And I think that's a great foundation, man. So the knocks on Tibbs, Cash. Do you think they're deserving? Todd, you think they deserve it? Does he run his players into the ground? Because it's playoffs. Like most of the cats, I think you had the stats, Todd. As far as the playing time, the only one that was still up there was Josh Hart at that time. So and I see a lot of the other star players putting in mucho minutes.
I don't think there was any injury that the Knicks sustained this season that was a result of overuse. Right. I mean, the one that you could probably, I won't even say overuse, but the injury that Julius had, I think it was against Miami, and he got undercut by Bam, and it was kind of borderline dirty, but let's just say just overly aggressive play that ended up taking him out for the season. He ended up,
where he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Where he ended up missing the season behind that, and people
but
can
is
point
that
to
a
that
knock
to
on
say,
Tibbs, though?
Well, it's a knock on Tibbs in the fact that there was, I think, 4 minutes left to go in the game, and we were up double digits.
Okay, gotcha.
So by that aspect, you're thinking, hey, let's get our stars out of the game.
Got you.
Exactly.
But
and
have you not seen leads just obliterated in 4 minutes, though? Have you not seen incredible comebacks?
Tom Thibodeau has forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know. So
true that. And
I've had my time.
But answer the question though, G. Coach. Or have you seen leads get take? How much was the lead? Could the lead have sustained a 4 minute time on the court?
I think we could have. I think we
could.
How
much was the lead?
I don't remember.
I think it was leads obliterated.
I think it was like 12 or 14 points or something like that.
Man, the way they be throwing up them threes now, G, I don't know, but that's a possibility. But overall, though, you can't blame Tibbs, man. And he's an old school style of coach, man. Old school style coaches. They play their starters a lot of minutes, and their starters should want to keep going. They should want to keep getting that burn. If you like got good, regular get on the court.
Regular season, there was only one Knick that was in the top 14, and he was number 14 in minutes played, and that was OG Anunoby. Okay. He was 14th. There were 13 other players, quite a few superstars and all-stars. They ain't coached by Tibbs. you know.
So that's just people.
So
That's just the word of the people talking on the streets, then, because they have no actual factual basis to support that statement. Then, because you just gave the data, you just gave the stat.
It's narratives, man. It's easier for people to follow narratives than actually do a little research before they talk. But it is what it is.
Touche,
The
my
Knicks
friend.
The Knicks haven't had a good coach in how long? They need to stop criticizing Thibodeau and give him his props. Give him
Facts.
the players that he needs to move forward.
It's some Knicks fans. It's some Knicks fans, but it's a lot of outside critics.
I don't know who's been the coaches since Van Gundy. You can't tell me anybody that has.
No, that's not even a question. We're just saying, as far it's not the Knicks fan basis that's questioning Tibbs. Some of them they talk about that on sports talk, radio, and media, and like Todd said, they'll create a narrative. But then when you look into the actual stats of the playing time of the players, you see that's not even factual. It's just someone creating a narrative.
They're creating a narrative because they would make more money if the
Of
Knicks
course.
Straight up.
All right, so we all agree that Tibbs is not to blame for the injuries.
And he's probably going to get extended this summer too.
He's blamed for the wins also. I hope he gets blamed for the wins.
For sure.
But anything coaching-wise, tactically, that you think he could have done better, though?
Maybe gave some of the bench players some more burn earlier. But
especially in blowout situations.
In blowout situations, but none of the players got hurt in blowout situations. So, like, he kind of worked the lineup based on the scores and stuff, and he wanted to make sure that they know that this is how I'm going to expect you to play, and the people behind the starters weren't putting up that pressure that he needs on the defensive side.
Yeah, because the Knicks are a gritty defensive-based team, first and foremost. I mean, they offensively, it feeds off of Brunson, and as you see, once he gets injured or he's out for any stretch, and, you know, it is what it is. Chalk it up to a great season, man. But they took that L, unfortunately. We're going to get it back next year. And then you ended up having a finals now, Eastern Conference Finals, that is going to be Boston versus the Indiana Pacers. But before that, though, we're going to go to the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks and the Thunder series. I want to talk about that series a little bit.
Well,
SGA.
Hold on. Kyrie Irving, I just want to give him his props. He definitely stepped up.
Oh no, we got a whole segment that's gonna go to Kyrie. We ain't gonna do it now because I remember when cats used to call me crazy on the book because I used to hold Kyrie down hard body, even when he was going through the whole COVID nonsense. People was changing coats on the young G, man. So we're gonna talk about Kyrie. But as far as the series is concerned, we ain't gonna get political right yet. Let's brush and touch on the series itself. SGA, man, he's definitely a star in the making, man. We're witnessing greatness, man. Talk about SGA, although they lost. Talk about his greatness. Talk about his game and how he almost was able to carry the Thunder to victory, but they fell short and they lost 4-2-6 to the Mavericks. Go ahead, Todd. Talk about it. Or Cash, whoever, man.
Son's game is smooth as butter.
George Gervin,
that, man.
He remind me of the Iceman. That mid-range game is crazy.
The guard version of George Gervin. and it's effortless, man. It's effortless, and it's not even.
It looked like he ain't even trying, but he's
exactly.
You said silky.
Exactly. I think I read something where somebody said they want to see more fire or something like that. Like his game is like too laid back or whatever.
See, there goes again someone else's narrative.
You know,
someone else's narrative.
Talented for sure, man. SGA is absolutely going to be one of the best players in the league for a minute.
Who else on the Thunder that were you impressed by they play?
Oh, J-Dub. Actually, both Jalen Williams. Jalen who starts, and then the other Jalen who's the backup. I think the 4. It was a good game all around for them. I think Lou Dort is a pain in the ass
on defense.
That's going to hit some shots. I think what I think the one thing I took from that series, man, was how I won't say they froze Giddey out, man, but how Josh Giddey never really seemed to get into the flow of that series, man. I think Giddey might be out of it this offseason.
At the end of the day, I saw it as they should have shortened their bench. Joe Smith should have got more burn, and Casey Wallace should have got more burn. Dort wasn't really doing anything on the offensive end, and Kyrie was cooking him. Another thing I believe is Chet. They need another big man. Chet Holmgren got his food eaten.
They don't have no big
boy got his
his
food eaten for the whole series from the two-headed monster centers in Dallas. PJ Washington, he's playing for not even PJ. I'm sorry. Let me stick to the Thunder. Shea reminds me of a skinny version of Dwayne Wade, as far as with the two game,
the mid-range
pointers, mid-range.
Yeah,
but it's just smoother with it, man. I can't say the poor man's Dwayne Wade. I can't say better than Dwayne Wade, but in that stratosphere, his game is looking like. Yeah, but shout out to Jalen Williams. I told y'all about both Jalen Williams, though, man. Both of them, as they would say, diaper dandies. Jalen
All right,
Williams,
so now, as far as now, there's your segue to Kyrie, because I know he was shaking and baking and cooking. As far as with the Mavericks, and I want to pass it on to you after that. I want to make the point that Kyrie is often maligned, man. I heard them on talk radio this week, on the big networks talking about Kyrie, and they were saying that the only thing that he's known for is boycotting the playing because he didn't want to take the vaccine. Like, to me, that's his personal. That to me had nothing to do on how I view him as a basketball player. Kyrie Irving and I think, Kato, I always tell both of y'all, he's otherworldly, bro. Like, he's like a tiny Archibald throwback, bro. He's like a AI throwback. He just ain't got the hops that AI had. But that young player right there, man, he's a little older now, but as far as I still see him, his game is young, man. He has skills that you only see on the playground, man. And he's refined it because he went to Duke. Although he got injured at Duke, he still knew official organized ball once he came out of the New York City area of basketball. So I look at him as like a young prodigy coming out of the black community. So when I hear these things about him and how they malign him, it kind of rubs me the wrong way, man. It gets me upset, so to speak. And all I want to say is, Kyrie, keep doing your thing, man, and keep moving forward, man. And as far as his game, man, with the Mavericks, to me, they're most effective when they let Kyrie just take control of the offense. And he keeps the ball moving because he was making passes like I said, you would be on the playground. And he's dishing it and making acrobatic shots, busting down jumpers, and he was killing it, G. So to me, the Mavericks won that series because the combination of Luka and Kyrie now has started to meld, and they're building on that. What are your thoughts on that? When they let the offense go through Kyrie and then let Luka close, because right now Luka's injured or something like that, God. So when Luka's had the ball and they've been losing, he's been holding the rock. But when they get a ball to Kyrie to control the offense, the ball keeps moving, man, and that's how they was able to boogie. And then they let Luka close out games, man.
Luka was killing, man. Like,
when
that boy's game for his age.
Which game you talking about?
Yesterday.
Yesterday he had the fourth quarter, But he
No, I'm
was
just talking about his game. What I'm watching him doing, his basketball moves, and how he just be. It's like an old man playing with young kids. A lot of the moves that he's doing, because he's partially hurt with his leg and stuff, and
It's effortless.
he's still finding a way.
bro.
like,
I would say this. I would definitely say.
and
this
I'm not
to
taking
that.
nothing from Kyrie Irving, but like,
Nah,
at
he
that
ain't
boy's
as nice as
age-
Kyrie, bro. I'm gonna just say this. All right.
Has Kyrie ever been in an MVP conversation? Because
No,
I think
we're
Luka
talking
finished top
playoffs.
3 in voting
When
That's what I'm
this
saying.
year.
he should
Luka.
what?
This year.
Luka the
Luka.
Don this year. He finished
Luka,
top.
I'm not
like,
talking
matter of
about
fact,
this
not
year.
even top 3. Top.
All right, so
well, yeah,
listen,
top 3.
kind of going off the rails a little bit. The conversation is not about Luka versus Kyrie, all right? Because Kyrie's already won chips. If it wasn't for Kyrie shaking and baking Steph versus the Cavs, the Cavaliers wouldn't have won that chip. So Kyrie's already a made man. We're not talking about him versus Luka. Luka, he's nice, but he also has the benefit of Kyrie doesn't get the calls that Luka gets. Kyrie gets smashed in the face driving to the lane, and the ref won't call it. He just looked like he was caught up watching him try to make the shot instead of blowing the whistle. That's for one. He doesn't
Well, I
get
think
the calls.
part of that.
Hold on, pardon me. Then the other thing too is this. All right, Luka gets those calls. That's one. Like, Luka be moving in slow motion, so he has the benefit of now he has size advantage
That's
on a
old
lot of
man
the guards
moves,
that he's
Just.
playing. But
It's old man moves.
he has the size advantage. But the other thing that he benefits from, my G's, is this: the defensive rule changes have benefited a player like that. So
That boy is the European LeBron James, man. He been the truth.
I don't know. I ain't gonna say all
bro.
that. I'm just gonna say what I said, which is he is benefiting from the rule changes in how you can play defense, because now you can't really someone who he like you said, old man moves. An old man is gonna out physical you, body you, push you, and if you can't play push back on default player, then he's gonna get those calls. So they got to play him different. But at other times, though, if you're speaking of the last game, then yeah, I don't know. They just lapsed in the fourth quarter. They lapsed in the fourth quarter. But the way they took out the Thunder, he was killing them with triple doubles until his knee got hurt.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That boy is cold, man. Don't front on him. That boy cold.
Luka led the league in scoring, man.
I understand that, but you're trying to make the Mavericks out to be like a one-headed monster. It's a two-headed monster.
It's a two-headed monster.
All right, so that's all I'm saying.
That boy is
everything
25
just
years
super
old,
Luka.
yo. Just
Let's
think
not
of that
get
for a
caught up
second.
in that narrative. Like, without Kyrie, the Mavericks would not be here.
He's still an MVP candidate.
And that's
He led the league in scoring, man.
That's what I'm
He was
trying
an
to
MVP
tell.
candidate.
No, just
you don't think
that's
that's part of the. That's what it sounds like. All y'all talk about is Luka. The last y'all talk about Kyrie is the COVID. Yo, Kyrie sabotaged the Nets. Cats was salty.
Listen, Kyrie.
He did.
Kyrie
he stunk it up in Boston.
So,
Kyrie from a skill perspective.
I didn't get the COVID shot. I didn't get the
from a
COVID
skills
shot.
perspective. Kyrie Irving might be one of the most. From a skills perspective, Kyrie Irving might be the most talented cat playing ball right now. He can shoot.
Of course.
He can handle
We
the rock.
said that already.
He can finish his mid-range around the rim.
He's
and then
incredible. He's otherworldly.
He's even stepped up defensively.
No, that's not the question, though.
That's
the
what I
question
want to
is
give him
why.
credit for. He stepped
The
up
question is
defensively.
why.
To your point
That's
about
what
why
I give him credit for.
They don't give him his burn. They got like some.
That's what I'm gonna give him credit for.
They got some like
Absolutely.
political vendetta against the young G, man. Like how they did.
Kyrie is just do you know his shots?
Like when Muhammad Ali was like, "Yo, I'm not going to war." Viet Cong ain't never did nothing to me, and they locked him up. Greatest boxer on the planet, locked him up for 3 years. You know, I'm just saying, you know, comparing apples to apples. But as far as the series goes, they got past the Thunder. What do you think the Thunder need to do for next year, my G's?
Think they got to give my boy some burn, Case and Wallace off the bench. They got to re-sign Smith, Joe Smith. He was balling. I think Lou Dort, they got 1 year left on his contract. They need to trade him so they could get something for him. They need another big man. Prioritize a big man. Valanciunas. That's who I see over there. A guy like Valanciunas will make it work for them. Because Chet could move over to the 4 and he won't be pressed to just be the only person down low.
So you think he need to become a 4 flex like a Kevin Durant type of player?
No, I'm talking about a 4 flex. Like, remember how Tim Duncan was played power forward for a while when David Robinson retired. I mean,
but he would have to bulk up though, like you mentioned before. He's kind of
Tim
slim.
Duncan, he played, but Chet is the same way. Chet is real slim. So once he gets his weight
Tim wasn't that slim, was he, Ty? Tim Duncan
Chet
wasn't as slim as Chet.
When he can, nah. Tim has some weight on.
Chet is taller. Chet is 7'2" also.
Yeah.
He's taller.
But Chet is a little slimmer though.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but he's taller, so you're gonna see that. He's taller than him.
All right. So, did y'all think the Mavericks were gonna win? Who was your pick, Ty?
In that OKC series?
Yeah,
my pick was the Thunder.
You picked the Thunder. Yeah, you was out on the road that day on assignment, man. But me and Ty picked the Mavericks because that lack of experience showed in that series, you know. But you can see they up and coming team for sure. Man, another successful season. SGA was number 2 in the MVP voting, right? So then we move on from that. Then you had the Nuggets and the Timberwolves matching up in that game 7, man. Who was your pick on that, G?
My pick was Denver. I mean, as good as Minnesota is defensively this season, I thought Denver's experience and them having, well, actually, no, they didn't have the home court because Minnesota had the home court. But I really was of the opinion, especially when Denver stole that first game in Minnie, I was like, oh yeah, but Denver did not they ain't look good, man. You know, Minnesota's defense really stepped up, man, and gave them fits. And I think Jokic didn't really get any help from anybody. You know, Jamal here and there, but outside of Jamal, man, Denver had nothing.
I think Denver really missed the bench contributions of Jeff Green and Brown and Bruce Brown.
Absolutely.
And that was the big difference in what was going on with Denver. They didn't have nothing else. Jokic was doing way too much, and they wasn't getting consistent help. Michael Porter Smith goes in and out the lineup, and they might want to look to move him coming up and get another sharpshooter that's not costing as much.
Anthony Edwards dropped 44 in that game. Now, speaking of the young G, Anthony Edwards, another MVP candidate, right? Another rising star in the making. A lot of comparisons are being made to him and MJ, him and Kobe. What are your thoughts on that? And like, what do you like about his play? What could he improve upon? 22, 23? What's the age on that dude?
I think, he's 22. I think just because of the athleticism is why people are the athleticism number one, and how good he is on both sides of the ball. Which, but definitely the athleticism, the dunks and stuff. I think that's probably why he draws the most Jordan comparisons. I was talking about this not too long ago, and I think foolishly, some people think that when you compare Anthony Edwards to Jordan, the first thing they think about is stats and the greatness and the accomplishments. And then everybody's, oh, pump your brakes. He ain't even win anything yet. And I'm like, listen, comparisons are not always about accomplishments. Sometimes comparisons are about reminders, things that you look at and be like, yo, he walks like this one, he shoots like this, he has a handle that reminds me of so forth and so
The
on.
swag,
Now,
Mike, is the
the
same.
swag, yeah. Now, one thing that
Yeah.
I've given more thought to,
His energy, his intensity and energy reminds me of a Kobe, MJ. That ferocity, and he backs it up too, though.
His offense reminds me of Kobe. He takes difficult shots for no reason. Like he takes mad difficult shots.
The
He's a great
fadeaways.
athlete, and I think he has a lot of wasted motion. And that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing with Luka Doncic. Is not much wasted motion. He needs to stop wasting
that. I
some
give
of his
you
motion.
that. I give you that. I give you.
Slow it down a little bit because he's bigger physically. And he has the intangibles where he knows how to get people on certain sides of the court. And he already is not selfish. Where he's a willing passer. Once he learns to like compact some of his moves and go to certain parts of the court where he know he can get, I think he'll be the leading scorer in the league. He's definitely his game is dangerous.
Bananas. Yeah, it's bananas.
Because he got a better jump shot than people give him credit for too. His 3-pointer. He sank a 3 the other night. It was from distance. I'm like,
yeah, it was deep.
Okay.
Deep. He dropped 44 that game.
Okay.
He dropped 44 that game. But as you mentioned, he learns to play better team ball and under more control and not let his emotions like just carry him. Because his athleticism, and he has a fine-tuned game. He's
athleticism. Dominique Wilkins, where it looks so effortless for him when he's in the air.
Right. Like that dunk where he dislocated his finger.
Yeah, it looks mad.
That was a Dominique or Sean Kemp-ish type dunk, bro.
Yeah, where he's climbing it Vince Carter-ish, where he's climbing to certain levels, and it's
like nobody else was on. Like,
it's just that he has more.
And that 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" frame, it just looks so athletic.
He's like
and
20.
Just
he's
crazy.
gotten much better from his one season at Georgia also. So his game, one thing I could see with him, he worked on his game over the summer. Because some of the
yeah, they definitely
look like he got patent fallaways and certain things. He's not up there in the club with Carl Anthony Towns with his girlfriend.
So what you think about the comparisons, though?
Yeah, man.
What do you think about the comparisons? I think right now, to me, at this stage of his career, as far as what I saw with Jordan, I understand we were not in the same era of offense and style and defense. And damn, Jordan had to play some hella monsters in the East, man. He had to play some hella monsters. He had to go through the Celtics and the Birds, the Pistons and the Bad Boys, Isaiah Thomas and them.
You know, another thing too.
Pardon me. Hold on. Let me finish my thought, God. So then at that time, his who he had to go through was crazy. And now to reflect on Anthony Edwards, he got to go through some monsters now too. So we could also, if you want to do a comparison at his age, what was Jordan doing? Although we know his career path was maybe slightly different. Jordan went to NC, already won a chip with them. Then he got to go to the Chicago Bulls. In that time, you had the Milwaukee Bucks, who had the Sidney Moncrief gang. You had the Atlanta Hawks, who had, although they were late in their careers, they had the Dominique Wilkins gang, Tree Rollins gang. The Celtics was still there. Dr. J and the Sixers was probably older, and then they were fading, and you had the Bad Boy Pistons.
I didn't know Anthony Edwards was only 6'4". I thought he was taller than that.
I gotta jump off, brothers. Enjoy
Go ahead, bro.
Night. All right.
No doubt, famo.
Yeah.
We'll holla, yo.
Peace, bro. All right.
Yeah,
thanks.
I didn't know Anthony Edwards was only 6'4".
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why it's more fitting that he gets comparisons to Dwayne Wade than Michael Jordan.
But I didn't hear
Even
Dwayne
though I
Wade,
think his
though.
game is more Jordan-esque than
You heard Dwayne Wade, though? I didn't hear nobody say
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade yet.
Absolutely.
Now, he's more athletic than, well, Dwayne Wade was. He did have hops, too, though.
Dwayne Wade was pretty athletic, but Dwayne Wade was like, he was like
But
on
he
the
didn't have the
floor
same
after every
demeanor,
move.
though. Dwayne Wade was a little bit more a tad bit. He used to turn it on and off. He would, he would just be more silent assassin sometimes. Anthony Edwards is like, he just called out Kyrie. And he got taught a lesson, though.
It backfired, absolutely.
Yeah, well, the Wolves fell. Pardon me, the Nuggets took down the Wolves, and the Nuggets fell, became Peanut Nugents, and the Wolves moved on, and they facing the Mavericks. Who you got in that series?
The Wolves and the Mavericks?
Yes, sir.
I got Dallas again.
In what, 6?
I think it's gonna go 7. I think it's gonna go 7. I think so.
Game 7 is in Minnesota, Monday, June 3rd, if necessary, on TNT. So you think it's going 7? Mavericks took game 1,
right?
108.
I think Minnesota can get a game in Dallas.
It's possible. So let's talk about game 1. Like I said, the incredible Kyrie Irving. He can't give the kid more accolades on the court, man. Like, he's incredible. And I think he's a very good citizen, man, outside the court as well. I think he's just misunderstood by many. I ain't going to say by us. I ain't going to say by you, but
but I think he put himself in that situation, though. So
nah, man.
I don't think he's unfairly
vilified. What position? He put so it, what being a young like man.
Put it.
All right, what
like
does that have to do with basketball?
You ever heard the expression?
Nah, just tell me what he did. Don't tell me an expression, God. Tell me what he did that he put himself in that position.
Well, first of all, him not wanting to play with LeBron James. That kind of looked like, all right, man. That's a little feeling yourself or whatever, but if that's what it is, then go ahead.
How do we know that? Maybe
how do we know what?
Maybe that.
How do we know what?
Maybe that playing situation. What you're saying
about him not wanting to play with LeBron, him wanting to be the man.
That's his
him
choice.
wanting to have his own team.
That's his choice.
Yeah, but look what has happened. That's another thing, because you kind of forced your way out of Cleveland. You went to Boston. You was in Boston. You was talking about the earth is flat and all this other stuff. Then when it was time for your contract to come up,
he was a young
you was
man.
like, yo, I'm going to stay here if y'all going to have me. And then dipped to go to Brooklyn.
How old was he? Like the earth is flat stuff? Like, what did it have to do with basketball?
What I'm telling you is a lot of things that you do nowadays.
That's my point.
I'm gonna give you an example. But I'm gonna give you an example. Let me give you an example.
There was people talking about the earth was flat hundreds of years ago.
But let me give you an example. It's like P. Diddy right now, going through all the stuff that he's going through, right?
He didn't know better.
But it's like P. Diddy now, going through all the stuff.
No, don't bring no P. Diddy's. Like, stop it, knock it off. The cat is not nowhere near a criminal like P. Diddy. Like, knock it off, Ty. Just to win an argument, you're gonna.
If you let me finish my point.
No, my point is this, bro. That has nothing to do with basketball. Stick to basketball. Who cares if he said that the earth was flat? If you can show and prove that the earth is round, then do it. Who cares if he says it's flat? Correct him if you see him. If not, yo, Kyle, you bugging, son. I ain't gonna hold
all I'm telling you is
he did it to himself.
Controversial things that you do off the court.
That's the media hype is what I'm telling you.
And you get on the court and you don't produce, you're gonna get criticism. And that's exactly what happened.
When did he produce? When he sits out?
When did he produce? When he played with LeBron.
He won a chip with them. What are you talking about?
Right, exactly.
You just said he chose to left. And like you and LeBron, y'all mad because he wanted to leave and not be under LeBron's wing and be his own man. There's nothing wrong with that. Let him pave his own path.
It's not even about being mad that he want to leave. It's why
And
you
I don't
breaking
like
up a
it to
good
me,
thing.
like, yo, he ain't want to stay
You
with
know,
LeBron.
why you breaking
So
up
what?
a good thing? Why you breaking up a successful thing? The
Maybe
team
he
was
wasn't happy in the
garbage.
relationship.
The
Maybe he
team was
wasn't happy in the
garbage before
relationship.
LeBron came back.
So what?
LeBron came back, helped you win a ring, and you and your
All
feelings
right, so
because you couldn't do it without him.
Conversely speaking,
He's even admitted that he was in the wrong with how
he ain't say all that. He said he could have
absolutely
done
did. He
said certain
absolutely
things
did.
better.
He absolutely did. He reached
Nah,
out
he
to
ain't
LeBron
wanna-
and he told LeBron.
All right, so
that.
conversely speaking, right? Because I ain't hear where he said, "Oh, I was just wrong." Because it's never like that. It's always two sides to everything. So conversely speaking, like LeBron often does and exercises his right to leave the team that he's playing for and go somewhere else. If he would have did that, what would you have said? Then he's stuck there waiting. He might have said, yo, you know what? LeBron is going to eventually end up leaving and going to LA anyway. And maybe I'm not going to LA or down with that move. So I'm going to break out before LeBron breaks out. He don't want to. He probably talking in the locker room. Yo, yeah, man, might win another chip or two, whatever. Who knows? Because we're both speculating because there's no actual fact unless you ask Kyrie, like, yo, bro, why did you leave? And of course, the narrative is always painted to put this young man in a bad light, man. And that's the part that I'm defending.
Why?
Why? And I don't like because y'all go against him. And he's done nothing wrong to any of y'all. Anyone.
Why? What? Go against him? How?
I don't know. You always talk about his personal
you
stuff.
saying people just dislike
Kyrie. They just attack him.
Is that what you're saying?
Because he decided to blow up a movie that was on Amazon Prime about Zionism and the manipulation of mankind against other men on the planet and how it was wrong. Then
bro, what I'm telling you is there's no singular act that had people feeling how they felt about
Hold on. Pardon me, God. Didn't he get suspended for that? Or they asked him to pay retribution to the Jewish community because he spoke his mind?
Yep.
It might have been ill-advised, but he didn't harm anybody.
Absolutely, yeah, he absolutely got suspended for that.
Okay, so had
but
nothing
you know
to do
who
with
runs
Paul.
But you know who runs the world. Sports, entertainment, all of that stuff. Certain people you cannot offend. You can't, like how they say freedom of speech is not free for real.
He paid the price. So absolutely he paid for his freedom.
Absolutely. But my thing is you sitting there talking like people have no reason to look at Kyrie sideways or nothing like that. Like
they don't.
You know, skill-wise, he's great. Accomplishment-wise, what has he done outside of Cleveland?
What crime has he committed, bro? You so mad at the young brother.
I never said I'm not mad
at him at all. Like you're
I'm not mad at him. I'm not I'm telling you why people feel the way they feel about Kyrie before this season. You do, because you just asked me why people feel the way they feel about him.
Has nothing to do with basketball, bro. And you be trumping
it has everything to do with basketball, man. Because if he was carrying on the way he was carrying on and then produced on the court, took Brooklyn somewhere, took Boston to the playoffs. If he had done that, of COVID. People wouldn't feel no way about him like they feel now.
All right, they sat out, but he sat out because of COVID. The year before that, him and Harden got injured, and then you had the Kevin Durant shot where his toe was on the line. So the Bucks ended up going.
When he was talking about who's going to coach. Nobody's the coach. I might coach one night.
Who was the coach? Who was that? They was
again. That's my point. When in the world has any player? When in the world in any sport has any player went went on a press conference or anything and blatantly disrespected his new coach like that? Well, you know, sometimes I'll coach. Sometimes he'll coach. We don't have a coach. It's a coach by committee.
That was a terrible hire, man. Come on. You talk about
and it was a disrespectful thing. It was a disrespectful thing to say regardless.
To you, he was telling the truth. To you, you think it's disrespectful. Steve Nash stayed on board. If it was so disrespectful, why did Steve Nash stay on board? They know it's a game, bro. Like, come on. They ain't bringing a viable coach that they would respect. Steve
Nope.
Nash, did he even coach before that?
But that was KD's man. That's why they hired Steve Nash, because of KD.
He was an
Why
assistant
did
coach, right?
Why did KD go to Brooklyn? Nah. Why did
Steve
KD go to
Nash
Brooklyn?
never sat on nobody else's bench.
I think so in Golden State. That's why, and he was on Golden State staff, I think, when KD played there. So that's why KD apparently wanted him in Brooklyn.
A player's not going to respect a coach that doesn't have that cachet and that they word is bond, man, that they have that trust of the players, man. And Steve Nash didn't have it, man. Some nights Steve Nash.
Why did Kyrie's boy get him hired?
Hold on. I mean, we've seen this before, God. It's business and money moves behind the scenes. Even when who was your man from the Lakers? Byron Scott.
Right.
He lost his job to Franks with the Nets. Like, come on. Those are examples of things like that. Like, sometimes people get hired to not deserving those coaching positions, man.
And you notice people get fired that don't deserve to get fired.
Well, we spoke about JB, but
Steve Nash.
Mixing apples and
oranges. I agree
oranges.
with you. I think it was a bad hire too. But again, they was trying to, that's KD and all these other players looking at what LeBron does and be like, yo, I can do that. That ain't so hard. Yo,
it's
get
gotten
this
out
coach,
of hand though, bro.
It absolutely
gotten out of hand though.
It absolutely
gotten out of hand though, man. I would say this to your point, man. Kyrie has made some young and dumb mistakes in his time. His media, public administration group could have done a better job. Maybe he never had a public administration team up until now, and he sounds more articulate now. But I mean, he's just towing the line, man. At the end of the day, when it comes to a point in time when Kyrie has to speak the truth and say, you know what, all the sports and this money doesn't mean anything if I can't be truthful in the path that I walk, in the steps that I take, in the words that I speak, the life that I live, etc. And that's why I speak on it like that, because if you take away that man's ability to express himself freely, it has nothing, like, that's slavery, man. And that has nothing to do with sports. And I hear very few players, if any, spoken about like him unless they commit a crime. The only other comparisons you have, there's cats in the league who've committed crimes and they're still playing in the league and you don't even hear about it, bro. So that's why I'm here to say, and advocate like, leave Kyrie alone and let him cook on the court, man. Unless he commits a criminal offense against humanity or society at large, like, stop talking bad about that, man. And that's my narrative. But anyway, aside of that, man, sorry I had to digress. They're up 1-0 on the Wolves. So you got the Mavs in this, and you say it's going 7. Mm-hmm. All right. The Mavs will win the series if Luka stops holding the rock so long, man. Luka, stop holding the rock for like 10 seconds at a time, and then the clock runs out. The offense is not moving. Keep the rock moving, man. Decide what you're going to do. Are you going to dribble? You're going to fake? You're going to make a move? You're going to pass? Like, just don't be standing there and then get the whole defense bottled up on you, man. And holding up the rock, man. You're going to cause the team the series if you continue to do that. If you continue to be the closer, let Kyrie facilitate and shake and bake and do what he does, I see the Mavericks winning in 6, actually, if they stick to that formula. If they don't follow my formula, I think they'll lose in 7, man. But if it goes to 6, I got the Mavs winning the series. If it goes to 7, I think by then you're giving the Wolves too many chances to figure you out and knock you out. You got to take them young Wolves out by 6 games, man. That's my thoughts on that. We're going to move on to the East with the Celtics and the Pacers. Who you got, God?
I got Boston pulling that out. I got Boston in 6. That first game, Indy should have had that game.
Yeah, they let that slip away.
Indy definitely should have had that game, but I'll chalk that up to some rust on Boston's part. Maybe not rust, but just waiting for somebody they didn't really get into the groove like they had to until the end of the game.
They were at home for game one.
Yeah.
In their own building, game one,
Yep.
Eastern Conference Finals. I think this team has plateaued, man. To be honest with
you, they absolutely have, and I think the absence of Porzingis,
6 out of 8 Eastern Conference appearances
is even more glaring right now.
They shoot a lot of threes too, bro. Like that play with Jaylen Brown and Siakam at the end of the game. Well, there were 2 plays, and they were both in the same play. First of all, the inbounds play where Jaylen Brown got to push Siakam in the back a little bit and pushed him so much forward, and there was no call.
Actually, it wasn't even a push. He grabbed his jersey and tried to slow him down.
And pushed him. Because Jaylen Brown threw the little, come on, you throw the little quick forearm move, bro. You ain't got to throw your whole arm in like this. You can throw your little elbow forearm situation, man. And that's what he did. Or you just push your body weight forward. What they call that now, an incidental contact. But I mean, my thing with that is if you're gonna let it rock all the way through the game. If you're not, then don't. Just don't pick and choose when you're gonna call out a foul and not a foul. But he obviously made contact. Siakam got pushed forward, bobbled the ball, and it went out of bounds. Then a couple other plays. Point guard on Indiana lost the inbounds. He was over dribbling instead of passing the ball. Yeah, Halliburton. And then the incredible shot that Jaylen Brown made on Siakam, where that play where he was fading away in the corner. And they broke that play down where he did the curl, went from the baseline to the top of the key, and then circled back around Horford and then set up for the shot once the ball was there. That was an incredible play, man. Schematically, that was incredible. That was a pretty play, man. And that was big time for him to hit that. But Siakam, if I was Siakam, I would have fouled him though, man.
Hindsight is 20/20.
No, I'm saying in that position, he went for the fake. He caught him with the fake. But the rule of thumb is when someone's at the 3-point line, you foul them so that they have to make the free throws. You got to force him to make all 3 shots. And he didn't do that. He didn't even attempt. He put his hands back. So by that time, I guess he thought he had elevation on him and he was going to give up a 4-point play, which would have cost them the game. So that play took them to overtime. And then in overtime, that's when Tatum went to work on him. He put up like 10 points in the overtime. So Celtics went up game 1, 133, Pacers 128 in overtime. You got the Celtics in how many games?
I got the Celtics in 6. I would have said sweep, man, before that first game.
Sweep?
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I was definitely thinking sweep, man. But
I think it's gonna go 7.
If they had Porzingis, sweep would have definitely been a more
well, they say he's coming back in games 4. Yeah.
4 the soonest.
So Thursday's game 2, which is tonight, 8:00. Who you got?
I got Boston again.
You got Boston again? I think the series gets tied up tonight. I think the Pacers make some adjustments.
You think the Pacers are going to pull one out in Boston?
They have to. They had the first one. Why not? Rick Carlisle is a great coach. Has championship under his belt. He's going to make the adjustments. And whoever's going to be able to make the adjustments on the court, they just got to clean up the turnovers. The turnovers was killing them. They had like 22 turnovers in game 1, man. So I think it's a lot of times them letting Boston play bully ball with them. Like Jaylen Brown tries to be a bully. They let Tatum get off with smacks, and Drew Holiday is a defensive player though, so Drew is a straight up defensive
Derek White
hawk.
too.
Derek White too. And they let Jaylen Brown get away with the bully ball, and then Tatum does his little bullshit on the side. So if the Pacers play their game and a clean Pacers game, they'll win game 2 tonight. So moving along from that, how the Pacers were built with their running gun style. The Mavericks and the Wolves matchup. Game 2 is tomorrow, 8:30. Who you got in that game?
I got Minnesota.
Tying up the series?
Yeah, I think they're gonna wake up.
Okay. Kind of. You know what? I think for TV ratings, they probably gonna let it go 1-1. If the Mavericks play their game, man, if Luka plays that game where he don't hold the ball so long and his knee is not hobbling him, I think
I say this:
they'll go up.
Dallas,
They'll go up 2.
if Dallas pulls it out again in Minnesota tomorrow, we looking at a gentleman's sweep.
Possibly, bro. Because the Timberwolves, like OKC Thunder, they're inexperienced. They got past the Nuggets. So I give them credit for that. I'm not underestimating them. I just think it's Kyrie and Luka's time. You have
Boston
both
up
of them.
by 6 now at the half.
Okay. Yep. So you got the Wolves on Friday. What about Sunday at Dallas? Sunday at Dallas, 8:00 start.
Wow. Sunday, 8 p.m.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Dallas. I'm gonna go with Dallas at home.
2-1. Okay.
Yeah. I think Minnesota will get the second one, but
I think the Wolves going to return the favor in game 3 and take one in Dallas home court. Then we going to know it's going to be a series. But I think it's going to still end in 6. But, yeah, so either way, I think the Mavericks come back 2-1 when we come back next week. And so Saturday, the Celtics and the Pacers play in Indiana, 8:30. I got the Pacers on Saturday.
Yep.
And I think the Pacers go up 2-1. I think they could get it together, man. Brother's going to work it out. What about so you got to go in 2-1. You got to go with 2-1 Celtics.
Yep.
All right. No doubt. Been watching any of the hockey?
I've watched I've been watching the Rangers series. Well, the last series. I missed the end of I started watching the Panthers game and I kind of fell asleep on that joint. The last one.
Right. Well, now the Rangers are facing
Did they win last night?
Panthers. Now they lost 3-0, bro. Rangers lost 3-0. Yeah. That was only the second time all season they got shut out. The last time was like December. They got shut out, man. So definitely looking forward to seeing the continuation of that series. Hope that the Rangers bounce back, man, and can prevail victorious. What about any fights you seen lately? You seen the Haney fight versus Ryan?
I didn't see the fight. But I heard about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see the fight, but I heard about it. Then they said something about Garcia was dirty afterwards.
Yeah. So that's definitely a blemish. But you know, it's like so crazy with that because it's like it's rampant in the sport, right? Like it's to a point where they won't say it publicly, but it's like if you're not doing it, you're not going to be able to win because everybody else is doing it. That's the mentality like them cats have, man. And the advancement of masking agents and all of that. So it's like, if you lose, wasn't it an even playing field? Because if you taking the roids, I'm taking the roids or the PEDs, are we even?
I mean, you would think that,
Hmm.
but different substances give you different results. So you can never really, and it depends on what you're taking it for. So,
But I'm saying if they all doing it, you know what I mean? If they're all doing it, like, and it's like
they're all
known
doing
in the
something.
circle, like why you going? You know what I mean? I think it's when the commission catches them, that's when it's a problem. Like, yo, man, you was gonna have to come and report to us. Like, you couldn't get a 24-hour flush. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
couldn't get that. So what about the Usyk versus Fury fight? The lineal title of the world was on the line.
I didn't see that fight. I forgot all about that, man, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, Fury lost his belt, man. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be on a replay. It'll be on
I
a
give him this
replay.
much, man. Fury is a gracious fighter, man. Win, lose, or draw, man. If he beat you, he over there building you up, bigging you up, man. If he
He's not
lose to
dirty.
you,
Not dirty.
if he lose, well, people would question that. I never said anything about dirty. I just said
No,
I
I'm
ain't saying that.
saying like that's
But he's a good, he's a good
being
dude. He's a
dirty.
good dude.
That's being
He's a
dirty and grimy. If you can't congratulate a man who beat you in the ring, like a gentleman, yeah, then you dirty, you grimy. Yeah. So as far as like when he's in the ring, yeah, he's dirty in the ring. He's throwing elbows, headbutts, they all do. So, that's to my point. Like when they call out each other for like, yo, he does this, he does that. You point in a microscope at somebody else, what do? You know what I mean? So moving along from that, we're gonna talk about WNBA round ball around the world. Caitlin Clark, man, was drafted number 1. And Shaq and Charles Barkley was talking about players don't like her. Other players in the WNBA, they don't like her. And paraphrasing, not quoting, they need to thank her for bringing all this notoriety and all this revenue into the league. That's a story. That's the word on the street, man. What do you think is really happening with that?
I think there are understandably players who are a little bent out of shape.
Who though? Who? That's the
about
part I have
how,
a problem with. Like who though?
I'm sure there are a couple. Like
I'm
who
not
is this
sure.
chick? Like she can't. Like she's all right, but
Why
I
would you
could
say
ball as
that?
good as her. Why would I
Why
say
would you
what?
say that? Unless
As a
we
player?
have. No, I'm saying I can understand what you're saying, but I'm saying to you is why would you say that? Because they checked her with a hard screen, or they playing her hard and they not letting her like get off like how she was in college? Because
Well,
I
I
have
think
no evidence to say that there are WNBA players that are just like, yo, I hate Caitlin Clark, and then they're not like embracing her. They
I
should
don't
be
think that's
thankful. They're flying in chartered jets now.
absolutely, and that's kind of the point that I'm
So that's
making.
to my point. Why would they hate her? Why would they hate on her? For what reason?
They because of all the accolades and stuff that she's getting. I mean, they're basically talking about she saved the sport before she even laced up her sneakers.
Who
They
says
were
that? That's like
calling her a GOAT. College
who
in
the
college
white media,
in
the white
college
media.
basketball, the media period. There's no white and black media.
Yeah,
There's
there
media
is.
period.
There is. You just said they
So what
control
media?
everything.
What
Hold
media
on,
is
God.
Steve?
Hold on, God. We're gonna stick to the foundation. A few minutes ago, when we talked about Kyrie, you just said you know who controls everything. So yeah,
Right.
them, the white media. It's not us. It's not me and you.
So what part of the
We
media
gotta
is
sell our
Stephen A?
soul to get down with that. So they
What
paint
part of the
the
media
narrative.
is?
Come on, we're not gonna act naive. they paint the narrative that she's already the GOAT. We could both agree on that. If you want to go find them in
college
the
wise,
room,
college basketball,
but now they're
they would
saying
call
that
her the
she's
GOAT.
going to be in the MVP rankings before the season started. They have her as number 3. So that could be offensive to some players, and it's going to make them be more competitive against her and show that they're just as good or better. But outside of that,
do they not do that?
Okay,
what sport
we
do
know
they
this.
not go
All
after
right,
the
so this is what I'm
young hot?
saying. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. It's making no sense. It's like not adding up. Like if you're on the Nancy Drew mystery, this shit is not adding up, bro. Like, why would they do that? They would just go try to bust our ass on the court. Outside of that, I haven't heard any other WNBA player quoted or saying or doing anything that would suggest that they hate Caitlin Clark. So again,
Put it this way,
the media has painted this picture.
Former WNBA players have probably been the most vocal against Caitlin Clark.
Such as Cheryl Swoops.
Cheryl Swoops for one. And then
she's the only one that I heard, and she didn't lie. She didn't say anything that was false. She spoke the truth.
No, but their whole thing is, she's good, but wait till she gets in the league and she plays and I'm like,
she leads the league in turnovers, so she didn't lie.
Well, she leads the league in turnovers because the first 4 games, which is asinine to me, the first 4 games, the WNBA scheduled her team, which was last in the league last year, to play the 2 final competitors.
Isn't that what a GOAT does?
Her first 4 games.
So
college.
what, bro?
I said she was a college GOAT. First 4 games, she played the 2 best teams in the league.
I just told you
the first 2 games.
Okay, so what, bro? Get over it. So what? You play who's on your schedule. They have her ranked number 3 as far as potential MVPs this season. So what? You got to do what you got to do. Play through it. There's no one, as far as I know, that is sports savvy and has been following sports for like decades or is savvy in sports that is really realistically saying that on a last place team coming in as a rookie, that she was just going to just change the whole, that wasn't expected. And all the players are doing is they're showing her on the court like, nah, youngin', you can listen to the media, but I'm here to bust your ass. You going like she's going through her growing pains like any other rookie. It's the narrative that's already been painted, like you said, and it ain't just in college ranks. They're projecting her as far as WNBA too. And I'm like, as far as the fiscal part with the charter jets and her bringing in revenue that might not have gotten into the WNBA without Caitlin Clark, yeah, of course. I acknowledge that. And that's because they weren't giving it up to the black, brown WNBA players who were on the same skill level, who were just as amazing. Cynthia Cooper, like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, even though we don't really rock with her on the Knicks narrative, Candace Parker. You mentioned Breanna Stewart, even Diana Taurasi. When she played Diana Taurasi, I know Diana Taurasi is going to try to bust her ass because Diana Taurasi still playing in the league. She's been a GOAT for like 20-year career. She's like the Kobe, and I say that because of her duration in the league, like a LeBron status as far as WNBA. Like, and she's getting all those accolades unless, short of playing the games out. So that could rub somebody the wrong way, but I'm going to want to bust that ass on the court. I ain't going to hate you or be like, yo, fuck Caitlin Clark. Like, for what? You bring in mad dough into the league. But on that court, I'm going to bust your ass, youngin'. And it is what it is. But anyway, your girl Angel Reese as well has attracted a lot of attention. She said she had to shut down her social media. So did Aaliyah Boston, because people are saying that it's Aaliyah Boston's fault that Caitlin Clark is not winning So they picking on the pickaninny to now try to justify why Caitlin Clark is not winning. Because why are you messing with Aaliyah Boston? Because that's the picture they paint. Like, how is it Aaliyah Boston's fault? She's been supportive, a great teammate to Caitlin Clark. So that's the narrative out there. And she had to literally shut her page down because these false narratives are getting in people's heads and they running with it. It's like that MAGA Trump mentality, bro, has permeated into sports. And I'm not feeling it. But aside from that, man, talk about Angel Reese or any of the other rookies that you see are standouts for this upcoming season.
Reese
Cameron
is the only Reese and Clark are the only ones I could really speak on right now. It's sad that the chick from South Carolina, the center that got drafted, Cardoza, that she got hurt.
She'll be back June 1st. She'll be back June 1st.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think they match up against the Fever that game. They're with the Chicago Suns, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so they match up on June, the first week of June. They're playing the Fever, the Sky, pardon me.
Yeah.
So
that
Cameron Brink, right, is also a standout. But we're gonna get more into the draft and get him some more burn as the season continues. But the New York Liberty off to a great start. They're at 4-0, followed by the Connecticut Sun at 3-0. Atlanta Dream 2-1, Chicago Sky are 1-1. The Mystics and the Fever are both on the donut at 0-4 and 0-5 respectively. Then in Western Conference, you got the Lynx at 2-0, Mercury 2-1. Vegas Aces took a L the other day. They're at 2-1 now. The Storm are 2-3, followed by the Wings and the Sparks at 1-2, man. Any thoughts on the WNBA? Outside of New York Liberty, we already know they hold New York down. What are your thoughts? Will the Aces repeat?
It's not looking so right now, but anything can happen because look at how New York started the season last year and they came on tough and ended up losing to the Aces. So I really think it's too early to tell, but you got to look out for Connecticut, man.
Yo, the Mercury, which Diana Taurasi plays on, that's the team that beat them. And they said there was a little scrum as well. There was a little altercation.
That beat who?
The Aces. The Mercury is the team that beat the Aces. The team that Diana Taurasi's on.
Right.
And there was a little skirmish as well, man. So NFL draft, man. Helmet to helmet. Caleb Williams went number 1. NFL have started their voluntary OTAs. So we're going to get more into that as the summer turns into the season. And we're going to get into that. MLB standings, man, live from the Diamond. New York Yankees are in first place, surprisingly. And Garrett Cole is still not back, man. They're in first place at 34-17 over the Orioles, who are 3 games back, followed by the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. Any thoughts on the East, man, with your beloved Yankees?
Nah, shouts out to Aaron Judge, man. Ringing bells right now. Really coming on right now. And shouts out to that Yankees starting pitching staff. I mean, can you name anybody on the starting pitching staff, like as a casual fan?
Nestor. Nasty Nestor. Nestor the molester. He been molesting them at that pitching mound, man. He's doing his thing. But overall, the pitching staff has been doing great. Schmidt, and they've gotten a lot of play. Surprisingly, the only thing that concerns me with them right now is when their offense stalls out, they totally stall out. Like they get shut out.
Yeah. And it's pretty much feast or famine.
I don't like that. But overall, when they do win, like they've been winning convincingly, not too many one-run games. So we'll see as the season develops. In the Central, the Guardians are leading the division, followed by the Royals, the Twins, the Tigers, and the White Sox are not doing that well this year. In the West, you had the Mariners, followed by the Rangers, who've been getting beat up by the Phillies lately, and the Astros, who I told you and Cato were going to fall this season, on third place. They're like 5 games back right now. But we'll see, though. I'm never going to count them out totally, but they're not off to a good start, which is not like them. The Phillies are off to a record pace. They're 36-14, on pace with the 2000 Mariners. And they set the record for 100 games in a season, 116. Yep. Followed by the Braves, who are 6 back. Then the Nationals. The Mets are porous. And the Marlins are the bottom feeders. The Brewers, first place. The Cubs, Cardinals, Pirates have slipped in the standings. And the Reds bring up the Central. You got the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and the Rockies. And baseball is such a long season, man, that we're just going to move on for right now and just keep it localized with the Yankees until we get closer to the All-Star break, because it's such a long season, man. Like, I don't know. I don't have the time anymore to get into the whole deep dive, like watch every game for the whole season like I used to, man. I don't have it. It's like a job, bro.
Yeah, it's early too.
Yeah, but it's 161 game season, bro. It's a lot of games, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long season, man. All right, so up to par for the course. Tiger failed on his attempt last week to win the PGA Championship, man. But the big deal was the Scotty Scheffler arrest. Did you hear about that, G?
No, what's that all about?
The number 1 player in the world,
right,
was trying to enter Valhalla, and then he got arrested. There was some traffic situation going on. There was an accident, and then he was trying to get in for his tee time, and it just became really, really crazy, bro, because he got into an altercation with, I don't know if it was a security guard that he thought was just a security guard, or a security guard who was also a cop, or a cop who he thought he was a security guard. Because sometimes in those type of states, well, a lot of times law enforcement they moonlight, and they have other jobs, and they just don't walk around with their badge. It's in their pocket or whatever. So they ended up arresting the number 1 player in the world, man.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy, man. That was crazy. Logic, do we have that footage? The Scotty arrest. That was crazy, G. Imagine you beating the number 1 player in the world. So, I mean, in that case, the narrative would be.
We're following a developing story out of the PGA Championship in Kentucky. We told you this at the start of the hour. World number 1 golfer Scotty Scheffler arrested while trying to enter the Valhalla Golf Club ahead of today's second round. He's facing multiple charges, including assaulting a police officer. Scheffler was released and has since returned to the course. For more on this, let's bring in James Colgan. He's a writer with golf.com. James, thank you so much for scrambling to get ready for us and talk to us about the latest. What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Pretty wild morning here in Louisville. It seems like just before 6 a.m. there was some sort of accident just outside of the golf course here involving a pedestrian who was unfortunately killed. And as a result of that accident, basically police shut down the entire road going in either direction into the golf course. The tournament officials sort of scrambled and were able to set things up so that players would be allowed on site. And when Scotty Scheffler sort of routed himself around traffic to get into the golf course, he was stopped by police. I believe he attempted to explain who he was and why he was trying to get onto the golf course, but I'm not sure that information quite got to the police. They wound up stopping him. about 20 feet after he had driven past him. There was a bunch of yelling, and then he was detained and taken back to a Louisville jail. The last hour or so has been even more chaotic. He was booked, he was charged, and then he was turned around and driven right back to the golf course, where he remains now about 30 minutes away from his tee time in
That's
what is
privilege,
supposed
though.
to be the second round of this tournament, where he's in contention. So there's a lot of unknown right now. We're not clear if Scotty is going to be playing. We're not clear what exactly has happened behind the scenes, but we know he's back on site here, and he is at least considering the option of teeing off at 10:08 a.m. when he is expected to.
So this is bonkers.
Yeah, her jaw just dropped to the floor.
I know, because I'm like, all that happened and he's still making his tea time. So that was all of that was for nothing, right? Because
that's crazy, bro. Yeah, good looking on that logic. Yeah, man. So that's definitely it's I have conflicted feelings with that. It's just, as far as the or I should say thoughts. On one hand, I'm thinking like, damn, that's crazy. Although we didn't see the actual incident, because we would have to take a deeper dive into that and actually see like what was the altercation. They charged him with assault, right? Like he assaulted the officer.
I was reading something just
Criminal.
now,
right?
And basically, it seemed like there was a scene, a crime scene. Yeah, there was a crime scene, and they told him, hold on, and he proceeded to go through. And they said as he was driving through, like a cop was telling him to stop, and he wasn't paying attention. And I think the cop, they said, was trying to. I was just reading.
So he was exercising.
Window open or something like that.
He was exercising his privilege, right? So he was exercising his privilege on a social level as being the number one player in the world. Like, yo, you don't know who I am. The police officer was like, yo, I'm here doing my job. But the actual footage of what actually transpired, we're going to take a deeper dive into that. But just the thoughts that come to mind is like, he got in and he was out by 10 o'clock in the morning. If you and I or someone who's not so privileged, I don't know, maybe not you, but I don't know about me. I don't know if I'd be out that quick. He was out in like 2 hours. Maybe you could get out there quick, Ty. I ain't gonna put it past you.
So he's wealthy too. So he's a celebrity and he's wealthy. So
yeah, that's the privilege.
Typically under those circumstances, you can have your processing expedited, shall we say?
Like how Trump went and got fingerprinted and arrested and left. Crazy this disparity. It's the inequalities, man. Anyway, man, we're gonna move on to our monsters of the week, man. Scotty's he gonna pay restitution and a fine or something, man. Our monsters of the week, call them out. Definitely
Kyrie.
Oh yeah, definitely Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving. Or is that only Julius? It can only do that for Julius.
I don't know. I think they do. I think they do it for Kyrie. I think he's earned the Kyrie the moniker. Is the spelling the same? Because his is IR and
no, it's not.
This is IR.
Yeah,
right. Dr. J was EA.
No, just ER. ER.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know his was
my other monster is Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge.
I'm gonna keep it local.
I have to definitely, unless you have any other monsters.
Nope, I'm good.
Since you keeping it on the New York theme, I'm a parlay and add Jalen Brunson to the mix. First and foremost, Tibbs, the whole New York Knicks, man, and the way that they've righted the organization, and they're moving in a direction. Although it was a heartfelt loss, they have a bright future ahead of them. They stay on course, man, and the Knicks will be ringing bells for years to come, man, in New York. when it comes to the round ball, man. Big up New York Knicks on a great season, man. They're definitely one of my monsters of the week. Oh, the cat Hernandez from the Rangers. Excuse me, from the Phillies. He's 9-0, and he's has like a 0.68 ERA. He's doing things that hasn't been done since like the 1960s with a baseball. And he's getting comparisons. Yeah, Phillies. He plays on the Phillies.
Suarez?
Hernandez.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 9-0. He's definitely a monster of the week. SGA, man, valiant effort, although he fell short in that series. Anthony Edwards for pulling out a grand performance, outstanding performance, dropping 44 in that game 7. I'd have to give it up to the Philadelphia Phillies for a record-breaking start. Something that has never, I ain't gonna say never, hasn't been done since 2001, since the Mariners, early 2000s, man. 116 wins in that season, but they didn't win the championship. So we're gonna see what happened with the Phillies. Any orphans, man? Know them.
Tyrese Halliburton. Chump.
Tyrese Halliburton. Really? The orphans. He's not in your network?
The orphans.
They're not on our network.
They rumble anyway.
Wow. Orphans. Wow. Yeah, Tyrese for definitely knocking out the Knicks. Oh, I gotta call out Greeny, man. He's not in my network, man. ESPN's very own, man. He was the one that was talking about that Kyrie. When you think of Kyrie, the first thing or what you think about the most is him sitting out during COVID. And I'm like, no, that's not the first thing I think about. And that's not the main thing or only thing I think about, especially since that was like 2-3 years ago, Greeny. So, Greeny, you're not in my network, man. Go to the orphanage, bro. That's one cat. You got any orphans, man?
No more. Just Halliburton right now.
Just Halliburton. All right, man. So let's get to BK Ty's top 5. Moving it along.
All right, let's get into this here. BK Ty's top 5 tonight will be the top 5 NBA players of this season, 2024. That's right. Coming in at number 5 is actually playing right now. We have Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics. Without a doubt, should have been, wasn't an MVP conversation this year. But definitely gets props for that. Best player on the best team in the league. The team with the odds-on favorite to come away with a title. And on top of that, man, he's averaging 27 and 8 with almost 5 assists on damn near, I think, 49% shooting from the field. So shouts out to Jason Tatum. Buck Foston, as I always say.
And his commercials are funny, man.
Who, Tatum?
Yeah, his commercials are funny.
Okay.
His commercials are funny, man. He get punked by the Ram. That's what's so funny about it. Whether the mascot comes and bumps him when he's walking into the photograph room to do his photo op. That was funny.
I remember that. Yeah. Coming in at number 4, we got SGA from OKC. SGA has morphed into one of the best players in the NBA this season. He's now a legitimate MVP candidate, as evidenced by the voting this year. I think he came in second. He averaged 31 and 5 with almost 7 assists this season. Monster on a surprisingly good team, and he's only 25 years old. So there's a pretty good future ahead of this guy. Leads the league in offensive win shares and win shares per 48 minutes. Pretty good stuff. Coming in at number 3, we have Thanasis' younger brother, the Greek freak from Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo. How good has the Greek Freak been over the long haul since the start of the 2017-18 season? This
I
cat
thought you
is
said
averaging.
this season though.
Huh?
I thought you said this season though.
Yeah.
I thought you said this season. All right.
Since the start, since the 2017-18 season, since 2018, he's averaging 29, 11, and just short of 6 assists on 56% shooting. He put up a 64 point performance earlier this year. And it's inevitable that if anybody's going to break that or come close to that 81 from Kobe, it might be this guy. Giannis is pretty unstoppable offensively, and if he ever just really works on that 3 ball and gets that down pat, he'll be a monster, the likes of which this league hasn't seen in a while. And here's the thing, all of that, son is only 29, so he's got some years ahead of him. So shouts out to Greek Freak coming in at number 3. At number 2, the topic of much debate tonight, Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks. One of the best young players in the NBA, period. He's been pretty much dominant since making his debut back in 2018. This season, he's like taking it to another level. He's a 5-time All-Star, led the NBA in scoring this year at 34.2 points per game, averaging also 8 rebounds and 9.5 assists on 49% shooting. That's damn near triple-double. These are historic numbers, and definitely a reason why he came in top 3 in the MVP vote. And coming in at number 1, we got the Joker from Denver. Jokic has redefined the modern NBA in the fact that he's not athletic at all. He's not fast. Other than the natural size that he has on, he doesn't seem particularly strong. Doesn't play above the rim at all. Not a great defensive player, but this cat dominates every game. Won 3 MVPs, won the MVP again this year after winning it back-to-back years 2 seasons ago and the season before that. Just probably going to go down by the time his career ends as one of the best bigs in the game ever. Right now, averaging this season 26, 12, and 8.7 assists per game. This is crazy. Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. So yeah, Nikola Jokic coming in at number 1. So recapping the NBA 2024 top NBA players of the season, we have Jason Tatum coming in at number 5. We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming in at number 4. From the Milwaukee Bucks, we have the Greek Freak coming in at number 3. 29 years old. It's crazy. Luka Doncic comes in at the number 2 spot from the Dallas Mavericks. And rounding out the top 5, the number 1 and best basketball player in the world at this current moment, Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets. And that's BK Ty's top 5.
No Andrew Edwards. No Andrew Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Edwards.
I give AE honorable mention from he's probably the best 2-way player in the game right now. But he still hasn't refined his game. You know what I mean? Just off of talent, he's close, but
I would have had him there more than Giannis, though. I have to disagree with you on that. Giannis.
You think
they didn't
Anthony Edwards right now? So
I would have put as far as like. Yeah,
so if you're building a team and you're drafting your first,
but that wasn't the premise. That wasn't the premise, though. We're talking about best players right now. We're not saying
so if you had the chance to draft to build,
we're not talking about the draft. We're talking about the teams.
I am talking about building a team. I'm not talking about
the team's already built, bro. We're not doing the draft right now.
Players. I'm comparing the 2 players. You said
I'm
that
telling
you
you that
Anthony Edwards is better than Greek Freak.
Had a better
so I'm
season.
asking you if you were a GM
right now,
and there was a
there was an expansion draft. Who were the best? players for this season, not for 2017 as you far went back. Because Giannis, how much was Giannis even on the court this season?
He was on the court a lot.
Really? All right, because I saw him on the injury reports a lot, and that's
so. Like I said, if you were
one of the reasons why
and we were having an expansion draft right now,
I'm
and you
picking
had your
Anthony
choice
Edwards.
To pick between, you're
I'm
going to pick
picking
Edwards
Anthony
over
Edwards.
Greek.
I'm picking Anthony Edwards. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I like Anthony Edwards' game better than Giannis's game. Yeah, he's younger for one. He's 7 years younger, and the advancement that I see in his game, Giannis was nowhere near as developed as Anthony Edwards is at this age, at his age. So yes, sir. I'm not trying to be like, oh, like it's out of this world statement. I'm saying it to say, yo, Anthony Edwards is that dude. He's that true. Without him, the Wolves wouldn't even be in these finals, man. Because remember, Cat was gone for a good portion of the season. And the fact that, and you spoke to this point, that Dame Dollar and Giannis couldn't find an effective cohesion to take Milwaukee to that next level.
So let me correct something you said real quick.
Excuse me. Even before his injury, okay? Even before his injury, you and I both spoke about this, that him and Giannis couldn't find that cohesion, and that he was also part of the reason why they got rid of Budenhauser, correct?
Yep.
Then they brought on what's his last name? Adrian Griffin, right?
And got rid of Griffin.
He got rid of Griffin. All on the approval, on the cosign of Giannis to appease him. I just say I like Anthony Edwards' game is just as effective for my taste. You could take Sam Bowie if you want to, or Akeem Olajuwon. I'm gonna take Kobe or Jordan prototype. That's just my preference. I'm not saying that your pick with Giannis is wrong. I'm just saying I would have, if it were my list, I would put Anthony Edwards in there, bro. That's all.
So just to correct you real quick, you said Giannis wasn't as good as Anthony Edwards when he was
this
his
season.
Age. No, that's not what you said.
He's not, bro. He's not.
You said
you said. All right, so I know what I said.
Giannis was not as good as Anthony Edwards when he was 22.
You like monotone.
Giannis Antetokounmpo won Most Improved Player when he was 22, averaging 23 points.
That's good. That's good.
9 assists,
but
and
look
nine rebounds. And
look
6
at the
assists
players that he's being. All right, first of all, we have the advent of the Euro player, which is Joker and Luka, which I'm not knocking them, but as I mentioned before, they benefit from the rule changes in defense. That the fact that you're allowed to take more than 2 steps now in today's NBA, and that's a fact. That's a fact that they're allowed to walk now. They call whether you call it a Euro step, a crab dribble, whatever. It has to be totally blatant and on the referee's discretion at this point to get those calls. Both of those players benefit from that style of play. They are not the most. Pardon me, sir. They are not the most athletic. All right. So they benefit from that style of play. No, I'm talking about Joker and Luka. All right. Keep up with me, fella. All right. So keep up with me. So because of that now, they benefit from that style of play. They are both on your list, right? So now, okay, they benefit from that. When Giannis was that age, you're saying he was most improved player, 22? Okay, so now at 22, Anthony Edwards is competing against a 3-time, well, he was previously a 2-time MVP, right? You have Luka, who's coming to his own. Both of those players have benefited from the change in the rules and the style of play. So now He might not get MVP, but I think that he's in the conversation and get consideration. Then he got to go against SGA because you didn't put him in the MVP conversation. That doesn't mean that he doesn't belong. And then your other player was Jason Tatum. I would have even put him in the conversation before Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum has Jaylen Brown. Anthony Edwards doesn't have that. Cat sometimes loses his identity on the court. When Cat brings his A game, yeah, it's different. But sometimes Cat gives you a wishy-washy game. So Anthony Edwards, as to that game 7, they just played against the Nuggets. He dropped 44. Outstanding, stellar performance in the biggest moments. I'm not saying that Giannis is not that. I'm just saying to you right now, when I watch Giannis at 22 and I watch Anthony Edwards at 22, Anthony Edwards' game is more refined. That's all I'm saying. And he has 7 years to make up to see what he does compared to Giannis at the same age. And that's all I'm saying is I would have had Anthony Edwards even just an honorable mention, bro.
Their numbers are the same, almost at the same age.
Okay. All right. Peace and blessings on that then. But on talking about this season, Anthony Edwards, I would at least give him an honorable mention, man. Honorable mention. You don't think he deserves that, G?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like I said, he's definitely, to me, in my opinion, he's the best two-way player in the league. Okay. Offensively, his bag is probably as good as any player in the league. And defensively, he can strap up. He can absolutely strap up. So, yeah, I definitely
and he's a dog, man. He's a dog, man.
I definitely give him an honorable mention in that regard.
He got that. He got that assassin's mentality. He got that assassin's creed, man. And that's he's got it, man. He's got it. He got that oomph. He got that it factor, man. I would have, all right. So any other cats you want to give honorable mention to? I got to give an honorable mention to Jalen Brunson, man. Oh, and I might have put him on my list if it was I might have put him on there, especially with Randall out for so long, as you mentioned earlier.
Point guard this season.
Randall was out with the shoulder injury since like when? December. So I mess around, F around. I might have put Jalen Brunson on my top 5 right now because no way the Knicks are where they were at. Got as far as they got without that little big man, big body Brunson. But that's just me though. Anybody else honorable mention?
Yeah, you got to give JoJo his props, man. Whether you consider him a dirty player, whether you say he's durable or the new Mr. Glass or whatever you want to call it, got to give Embiid honorable mention as well.
No shouts to LeBron, your man, the 20-year Don.
He did his thing this year, for his age. Absolutely.
You don't think he's still a top 10 player?
Nah, I don't think he's a top 10 player.
All right, so Bet, check this out. Next week, we're gonna do a segment outside of your BK Todd's top 5. Just cover give me the top 20 players in the NBA. Okay. And I want to see where LeBron is at this stage in his career. And in your point of view.
Good one. Definitely.
Fair enough. Because I mean, it's an interesting story. The legacy continues. And I want to see where at this stage in his career, where you and I see where he's at. I think that would be interesting to talk about. And then we can also see where the league is going from there. The future of the league. All right. Because I remember one time me and Torrin did, this was years back, we was like, name the current or future Hall of Famers in the league. And I think that's when the Boston Celtics and Paul Pierce were, fading out. LeBron was coming up. Dwight Howard and the Magic were coming up. I think Kobe still had the Lakers, and then in the next year or two, you could see that was going to fade out. And then Steph Curry and Steve Kerr was building up. OKC was coming up. So you could say like Russ. I don't know if Russ is going to be a Hall of Famer now, but KD, Russ, Harden, you know what I mean? So we was talking about the league in that perspective. So that'd be an interesting, picture to paint. So let's close out to the outros. Yo, Logic, man, can you play the King of New York, man? You're all welcome at the end, man. That would be great, bro. Ty, man, your outros, man. Let's get to it, man. Thanks for being here.
Peace out, family. Peace out, family. Shouts out Sports Nation, Sports World, all the sports family out there, man. Appreciate y'all checking in. Appreciate the support. Salute. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Shouts out to the iRant Network. Shouts out to Ja Logic. Shouts out to Kato Cash. Shouts out to you, my guy, Reed.
Right back at you, bro. Yeah, the Ranters Union. All our followers and subscribers on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. Check us out, man. We doing our thing.
I think Logic got what you got, Logic. I think Logic got something for us.
What's that?
Come with the delusional Nick Flynn to Game 7 of the playoffs.
Game 7, go New York, go! You supposed to say go New York, go New York, go.
I tried to get a chant going, but they wasn't ready.
You see it?
They felt your energy.
The Garden literally has the best fans in the world. The energy is unmatched. Big Bro and I had to take a pic with my white chocolate boo. Hey, baby daddy, I see you down there.
We had some food, right? That top cheese, gotta be one of the best top cheese I ever had.
Madison Square Garden has the best arena food hands down.
God knew not to make me work at
Yeah, it
the
is the
Garden.
number one
Baby, I
arena in the NBA.
Because the food is wow good here.
The
It's not
Mecca,
bad. Wow
the
good.
Garden.
The Knicks got within 7, and I thought we were making a comeback.
Them Brunson breaks.
I've never been to a Knicks game and they won. Out of all the games I've been to, I don't remember them ever winning.
Poor thing.
This, I'm about to burn.
I never went to a Knicks game and they lost.
That's why they losing. Because you're about to burn it.
I decided to go buy another jersey
because
because maybe the one I was wearing brings
coming
bad
in here
luck.
buying a new jersey because I feel like I'm in bad luck now. We got one more quarter left. If we win,
I was prepared to burn my jersey outside.
I'm burning my jersey when we get home.
Wow.
All I'm gonna say is New York Knicks. If you don't win,
She lost me with that.
all right. We
You
made it
can't
this
burn
far.
the jersey, man.
All our
She a
starters
fan for the
hurt.
gram. She ain't a
our
real
team,
fan.
We made it like
Right.
really far.
Casual fan.
But I need y'all
Right.
to pull through with it.
The delusion is clearly over, and reality
Only way
really
she
started
getting away
to
with
set
that because she a cutie. Nah.
Start fighting at this point.
it. We got beat so bad I don't
Burn
even
this
want to
video.
return
How
to
about that?
golfer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably stop coming to Knicks games. Like
All right, bye, ma.
the Knicks
See you
ain't winning,
later.
I ain't winning, we all ain't winning. My makeup can't even win. What is this?
You and your makeup is
Sad
cancer.
walk out of the
I just wanted to get drunk at this point.
Knicks legend Marcus Camby.
Marcus Camby definitely been eating good honey.
Oh my goodness. Marcus Camby. Blast from the past.
I had to get this pick in case they decide to trade all of them, especially Randall, who hasn't shown up for a playoff game yet.
He's been injured.